I'm gonna do my top 5 star-crossed lovers in film. I've already started filming this, but I had to stop because there was a lot of distraction, and then I was on the last movie, and that frustrated me a little. But I'm going to redo it, so whatever. The fifth star-crossed lover I'm going to talk about is Miss Potter. I got it from the library and I watched it yesterday, and I love this movie now. So good. But it has Beatrix Potter, who wrote J. Peter Rabbit story, and she fell in love with Norman, played by Ewan McGregor. And this is a real story, by the way. So, like, actual tragedy happened. And what happened is Norman is the one who got her book published and supported her and all that. And they end up getting engaged. But her parents think he is beneath her and they don't want her to marry him. But she's saying she's gonna marry him no matter what. And so her and her family would go to a summer vacation every year to this lake district. So parents said she should go with them for the summer, and if she still feels the same way about Norman, then they would back off and she would marry him and they would leave them alone. But while she was on vacation, Norman died of leukemia. He died a month after they were engaged, and they didn't know he was sick. This came on, he just died. There was no warning of any of it. It was just he died, and there was no time. She wasn't. He didn't even get to see him before he died. She got there. The day after the funeral. Um. So yeah, it's so sad. But she did end up getting married. 8 years later, and living happily with him. So that's good. Next is Rowan Holiday, and and Joe. Although, yes, I do love Gregory and Audrey together. I think the chemistry was amazing, and I love them as a couple. But I don't get sad at the end when she doesn't end up with him because, like, obviously, she has more important things to do than stick around for him. She's a princess. She has a country to take care of, a family that needs her. So it's not sad to me. It's just like that's life, and that's what she had to do. So not like I'm ever torn up about that, but I do love them too, and they do count. So, and star-crossed lovers. So yeah. Next is Rick with Angel and Collins, who he both have AIDS, and Angel saved Collins' life one night, and they end up falling in love, and it's one of the most beautiful love stories ever. um, this movie, I rewatched it, and I used to was like, I love it, so good, and I rewatched it, and I was kind of bored with it, honestly, this time around. But I do love Angel and Collins, so I just love them. Um, Next is Becoming Jane, and this is about Jane Austen and Tom Lefroy, who were in love, but given the time period and the circumstances, they never did. This is also true love story. Um, and it wasn't Jane's family that had a problem, it was his family. Jane's family was extremely supportive of her and her decisions, and they would never interfere with anything like this. But his family did. They interfered and they kept them apart. And, you know, she died young, and he went to her funeral, and yeah, he named his daughter after her as well. And then the first number one star-crossed lover is The Bridges of Madison County with Francesca and Robert. And this is a very complicated situation here. Francesca is from Italy, and she lives in the middle of nowhere in America, and she's a housewife and mother, and she, her kids and her husband go to this fair, and she stays home because she wants some time to herself. So they leave, and then Robert, played by Clint Eastwood, he works for National Geographic, and he's there on a job to take pictures of the bridges in Madison County. And he sees her house, and he asks her for directions to the bridges, and she gets in the car with him and show him, and he end up like, while they're at the bridges, there's a connection between them, and she's married, and it's also a small town, so they're kind of, she's hesitant to do anything. They end up, I don't know, having an affair. They do, but it's the whole time in the movie. There's never one moment in the whole thing where they're ever okay with it, or they're ever comfortable with it. It's always they both are guilty. They feel guilty and they feel awful for what they're doing. But at the same time, they love each other so much, and it's just like the circumstances. If the circumstances were different, they would have been together. Because Meryl's husband, he was a good man, but he didn't want her to work. She used to be a teacher, and he made her quit so he could stay home with the kids, and she missed teaching, and she was kind of lonely, and she was kind of, I don't know, she was just kind of bored with her life, because she wasn't doing anything. There's a part in the movie that's so sad. Her family comes home, and they're at the store or whatever, and her husband gets out of the car. They go out of their car, and they come back in, and as she's sitting in the car, she sees Robert across the street, and it's raining, and he's watching her, and he drives in front of her and her husband, and he like stops at this red light, and even when it turns green, he stays just in case she decides to get out of her car and get into his car, and he could just drive off. And then she almost does, and she doesn't. He drives off, and that was the last time she saw him. He actually, in the movie, you find out he died. The whole movie is Francesca died. Her kids come to take care of her stuff, and they find the letters from Robert, and then they find letters from their mom talking about what happened between them and all that. And her husband had already died. She wanted to be cremated and thrown over the bridge where Robert was thrown over. Her ashes were thrown over, and her kids do it in the end. And it was just very nice. I love that movie, and I love the chemistry between Meryl and Clint, and it's beautiful and heartbreaking. So that is all. Goodbye.